The Legendary banner for August 2021 is coming soon. As usual with these monthly banners feature a starting 8% 5-star focus rate and a permanent non-focus 5-star rate of 0%. If you do get a 5-star hero, it's always going to be one of these 12 available here. Today we'll be going over each of the units and what fun skills they have to offer. First, we have a new legendary hero to talk about. For this month, we had a bit of a leak during the Swale banner update. There was an unspecified tome with the Dan logo, and it could have been an unused weapon for Peleus, the quote-unquote Prince of Dan. However, assuming it wasn't for Peleus, then the next character associated with Dan, who is a mage, would most likely be Micaiah. Turns out that was indeed the case, and Legendary Micaiah will make her debut this month. She is a Wind Parap legendary hero and will be a colorless infantry mage. We already had the full Micaiah color collection complete, but her first colorless form was a flying mage. This time she's got boots on the ground. Interestingly, Legendary Micaiah's outfit, I believe, is taken from a design from Cypher only. They kinda jumped the gun with Brave Micaiah because Brave Micaiah's outfit is just her endgame class from Radiant Dawn, and that could have fit the Legendary version just fine, I think. Legendary Micaiah seems to definitely be from post-Radiant Dawn though. I think the black dress with red cape works quite nicely. The Dane colors do look quite good on the silver-haired maiden. In terms of old skills, Legendary Micaiah is going to have Fury 4. Seems like an odd choice, but it does play into part of Micaiah's kit. Her weapon is going to be New Dawn, and of course it's effective against armored and cavalry foes. It grants a flat +3 attack as well. If Micaiah initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, she gains +6 attack and res and makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. In addition, she also has Desperation 2, so she can make a follow-up before the foe can counterattack if she initiates with less than half health. In general, New Dawn is quite similar to OG Micaiah's Dawning Refine, due effectiveness, a lot of attack, and a free follow-up. The Desperation effect is also very good because it works off the free follow-up attack effect. Although Micaiahs so far have not been super fast, so I don't expect Legendary Micaiah to be much different. She'll probably have that awkward below average speed around high 20s. It should be enough to win speed checks against slower tanks since her free follow-up can cancel out a follow-up prevention skill. She also has that boost from Fury 4. In general, Legendary Micaiah will be a pretty strong initiator. She will probably have over 40 base attack, and if she doesn't one-shot a cavalry army unit, then she has that second hit to back it up. As per usual, I am expecting pretty low base defense, so counterattacks can be an issue unless you have Desperation active. However, Micaiah does have some countermeasures for this. Her unique B skill is called Prescience, or Prescience if you will. Prescience is very simple and inflicts -5 attack and res on the foe, and if Micaiah initiates or faces a ranged foe, she reduces the foe's first attack by 30%. Everyone is getting damage reduction these days, although Donnie also had this effect. Donnie's damage reduction only worked on ranged foes, while Prescience can work against those nasty distant counter melee units, which is basically everyone. Like with Brave Erica's 30% damage reduction, you can easily keep Micaiah alive, but it's not foolproof. A fast charging special can burst Micaiah down, especially if her base defense is really low. Now, if she can survive, then this synergizes with New Dawn's Desperation 2 effect, with the 30% damage reduction and the 8 recoil damage from Fury 4. Hopefully after a single fight, Micaiah is low enough to be under half health. At that point, she can initiate with 2 attacks thanks to the free follow plus Desperation combo. This does seem to be Legendary Micaiah's game plan in general. Now, for another way to drop under 50% HP, Micaiah also has Maiden Solace. Technically, this is a new skill, but it's basically an upgrade over her unique Sacrifice assist. Sacrifice healed allies for as much HP as Micaiah can give. If an ally lost 30 HP, Micaiah would give them 30 HP, assuming she has enough. Sacrifice also applied Harsh Command, turning debuffs into buffs. Maiden Solace has the same healing effect, but now upgrades to Harsh Command Plus. Basically, you still turn debuffs into buffs, but you will also neutralize any other penalty effects on the ally. That can be stuff like Gravity or Panic. With Maiden Solace's healing ability, this is another way for Micaiah to drop under half health. She can heal an ally back to full HP, and then she can use Desperation to avoid getting hit. Last new skill on Micaiah is Joint Distant Guard. This one is inheritable and is a straight upgrade to Distant Guard. Basically, you still get +4 defense and res to allies within 2 spaces when they're fighting ranged foes. Now, the user also gets the +4 defense and res boost when fighting ranged foes themselves if they are near any allies. This is exactly like the other Joint Drive C skills. You basically have Joint Drive Defense and Joint Drive Res together, but only against ranged foes. If it's a melee foe, you get nothing. This kind of upgrade makes me curious if we'll ever see tier 4 upgrades for the class emblem buffs. For example, Ward Armor is basically Distant Guard and Close Guard together, but only for armor allies. If we got an upgrade to that, I feel like it could just be like this joint effect where the user also receives the same buffs. Regardless, I'm sure we can expect to see Joint Close Guard in the near future. Overall, not too many new things going on for Micaiah. Having Desperation built into her weapon is certainly nice, but you will need to get to under 50% HP compared to 75% HP. She is packing quite a lot of firepower with, I'm sure, high base attack and res stats. She gets +6 attack and res from New Dawn and inflicts -5 attack and res with Prescience. Combined with potentially 2 attacks in a row with dual effectiveness, that is a lot of damage. It does seem like Micaiah should have a good shot at taking down Fallen Edelgard, assuming she has Desperation already. She should win any speed check to get the double, and unless Edelgard takes Fallen Shield, then Micaiah gets the extra attack multiplier. With her normal attack and defense ideal A skill, Edelgard also doesn't get any extra res, and a lot of them like to run Mystic Boost, which doesn't help either. Like with a lot of units, if the Edelgard isn't running Bonfire, then Micaiah should be able to survive one attack, but that's not exactly reliable against each one you encounter. In terms of tanking other units, Legendary Micaiah can be decently sturdy against ranged foes. She's going to inflict -5 attack, and she has Joint Distant Guard, plus 30% damage reduction. Assuming Micaiah has the usual high base resistance, then mages and healers will probably not have an easy time taking her down without a special. I think Legendary Micaiah should be pretty decent. She does seem susceptible to no follow-up, but she may also just one-shot you anyway if you're an armor or cav unit. Maybe we'll see people bust out these speed builds like they did with regular Micaiah. Next, we'll be talking about the 11 other heroes on this banner. For red, we have Sothis, Legendary Lilina, and Fallen Male Morgan. Blue has Naga, Farina, and Ingrid. Green has Thrasir, Legendary Edelgard, and Fallen Female Morgan. Last, Colorless has Legendary Micaiah, Ashera, and Fallen Edelgard. Literally, people will be pulling on this banner just for that monster. Starting with the red group and Mythic Sothis, she's a red infantry dragon with a good balance of stats. Her Sublime Surge has distinct counter and neutralizes dragon effectiveness, which is pretty important. Cirrus is a 2 cooldown special that deals damage based on 30% of Sothis' speed stat, plus it also heals for 30% of the damage done. Now, I have relabeled my color markings for skill inheritance. For a while now, pretty much every unit on these banners has really good skills, so I want to emphasize that yellow will now stand for either rare skills you can't find very easily, or just high priority skills you should inherit from that unit. Purple will now stand for skills that are decent, but are on a lower priority for inheriting, either because the other skills are just that much more important, or for skills that are on heroic grail units. For example, on Sothis, Rat 3 is alright, but it's not exactly super meta anymore, plus it's on 2 heroic grail units if you really want to get it. As for attack and speed solo and times pulse, both are still top tier A skills a lot of units can use. Moving on, we have Legendary Lilina. She's a red mage cavalier with a lot of base attack and res. Her Studied 4 Blaze grants more attack and res plus Hardy Bearing. It will also pre-charge Gifted Magic, which is a 2 cooldown AoE special. Gifted Magic is actually weaker than the wide range growing AoE specials, but since Studied 4 Blaze accelerates specials, Lilina can recharge it after every fight. She does not need Special Spiral, which she can use anyway. Lilina will also bring attack and res solo 4, sabotage res, and pulse smoke with her. Sabotage res can be gotten from Solon, but it is a pretty good devo since a lot of high res units are also magic users. Last up is Fallen Male Morgan. He's a red infantry mage with low speed but good attack, defense, and res. His Tome of Despair is a bit complicated, but it grants additional effects based on the total number of buffs on Morgan plus the debuffs on the foe. If it's more than 5, he prevents a follow-up. If it's more than 10, Morgan gets a follow-up. More than 15 will also give Morgan Guard. Very powerful tome, and he can activate it very easily thanks to attack and res Menace. Menace skills are all the rage, and while they aren't the end all be all for C skill options, they are extremely strong when they do work. If you're within 4 spaces of any foe, the user gets +6 to 2 stats and deals the enemy with -6 to the same stats. Not only are Menace skills devastating, but they work great with some other skill combos too. If you're going to use Morgan for fodder, you should 100% try to grab attack and res Menace. You can even get the prereqs from Sonya since it's just threaten attack and res 2, which means you can also get attack and res solo or sabotage defense. The red group has some fantastic skills to work with this time. For blue, we start with Mythic Naga. She's a blue flying dragon, and her Divine Fang can buff allies with dragon effectiveness. Divine Breath then gives Naga more stats based on nearby allies with dragon effectiveness, and Naga herself is effective against dragons anyway. For her inheritable skill, Naga does not offer the greatest options. Chill speed's okay, but the beast slot is just too competitive unless it's a full support build. Aether Raid's offense skills are also just kinda bad since you need to destroy defense structures for more stats, and you cannot depend on that for every single map. Naga is a bit of an oddball, but she is an Ashera mythic hero, and Anima Season does have Doom and Saros on defense. Next we have Farina. We have a lot of Lance Pegasus Knight Flyers in the game, but Farina has an interesting 30-30 defensive spread. Her Hotshot Lance accelerates specials and literally gives more stats depending on the number of Dragon Flyers you invest into Farina. If you invest at least 5 Dragon Flowers, she gets +7 to all stats at all times and neutralizes enemy field boss. If you use Farina seriously, you should give her that investment, otherwise Hotshot Lance is a fancy slaying weapon. Now for skills, Farina brings the new and popular Attack and Speed Catch 4 A skill, definitely a strong A skill for Cavaliers and Flyers. She also has Attack and Speed Snag for Debuffs and Attack and Defense Rain. Very good kit for inheriting, plus she even has reposition. Last up is Ingrid. She's a Lance Cavalier with really good attack and speed. I know we just got Brave Erica, who is a top tier offensive Lance Cav, but Ingrid is still really good. Lilina accelerates specials and gives Ingrid extra damage equal to 20% of her speed stat on hit. If she outspeeds the opponent, they also cannot counterattack, so Ingrid has a pseudo fire sweep lance that hits quite hard. I think she can do very well with a Kanto B skill or the new Flow Refresh for no follow-up. Ingrid does have some good skills of her own though. Attack and Speed Solo, Low Speed and Defense, and Rouse Attack and Speed are all great for any offensive attacker. Can't really go wrong with any of those skills. Even though Blue only has one Mythic hero, there are some very nice skills on her 2 other units. For the green group, we start with Mythic Thrasir. Thrasir is a fast infantry green mage, and her Ifinger Tome plus Killing Intent B skill can allow her to attack twice in a row if the foe has a penalty on them, or if they're already hurt. She gets a ton of stats from both skills as well, plus she can use Flashing Blade 4 with Moonbow for a quick proc. She's a really strong mage if you're not careful. For Scare Inheritance, Flashing Blade 4 can create some interesting builds, especially with quad attacking setups. Panic Smoke is nice if the enemy is depending on debuffs a bit too much. Next we have Legendary Edelgard. She's an X-arm unit with a lot of attack. Legendary 80 is a bit unique for an arm unit because she is super offensive. All of her skills depend on being solo, but if you do meet those conditions, Amir is going to inflict attack and defense debuffs while preventing a follow-up attack. The real power of Legendary Edelgard is from Raging Storm, which gives her another action after initiating. This is not Gale Force, but it can stack with Gale Force for 3 actions without a dancer. With Armored Stride, Edelgard has 2 movement to abuse Raging Storm, and attacking her solo gives more stats while she's on the hunt. Keep Raging Storm in mind because we'll be talking about it again very shortly. Last green member is Fallen Female Morgan. She's a flying axe unit who is very slow but has great attack, defense, and res, just like her male counterpart. Her Axe of Despair is the same as Male Morgan's Tome, except it also accelerates specials. Female Morgan also has attack and defense menace to proc her weapon, and you can get the prereq for it from Patrine, since it's just threats and attack and defense too. With that in mind, you can then grab Dive Bomb or attack and defense solo. Dive Bomb is quite rare, but it can be extremely strong for certain units like Elencia or Cordelia. It gives you instant desperation 2 hits, but only if you and the foe are healthy. Fallen Female Morgan uses Dive Bomb to attack twice with her high attack, and she can proc Glimmer on the second hit. Like with Male Morgan, she is good, but also carries insane fodder value. Last up, we have the Colorless group with Legendary Micaiah. Obviously, if you want Joint Distant Guard, you're going to need Legendary Micaiah. I'm not sure on the prereqs for this skill, but you probably only need Distant Guard 3, so if you're just upgrading, you can also grab Fury 4. Joining Micaiah will be Mythic Ashera, which is ironic. Ashera is also a colorless infantry mage, and she's quite fast while having high res. She can get +5 to all stats, and can gain bonus attack equal to the highest total bonuses on an ally within 2 spaces. It's like a Blade Tome effect, but using the buffs from your allies. To ensure her chosen allies are buffed up, Order's Restraint gives +6 attack and res, and No Panic to allies within 2 spaces. Ashera is the only unit who can give No Panic currently, which ensures your field balls are kept intact. She would work very well with Brave Marth, who literally gives himself and the whole team +6 field balls to all stats. For inheritable skills, Ashera is the only unit with attack and res ideal for. She also has low speed and res, which is great B skill for fast mages. Last up we have Fallen Edelgard, and I literally do not have to explain why you should want to get her. Fallen 80 is a busted unit, and that may be an understatement. She is a colorless armored beast unit, and she gains immense power when transformed. Between Twin Crest Power and Armored Wall, Edelgard can get faster specials, inflict -6 attack and defense, prevent a follow-up attack, get an extra action just like Raging Storm, has Distant Counter, has Special Fighter, restores 7 HP after combat, and can reduce 40% damage on first hits for her first combating either phase. She can easily solo entire teams if you do not have proper countermeasures, and you also need a lot of firepower because she is so min-maxed. Putting Fallen Edelgard on any banner is guaranteed to make bank, so if you really want Legendary Micaiah, then it's a really good time to try and get her. If you don't want to use Edelgard for some reason, she does have attack and defense DO4 and Armored Stride. Colorless is incredibly good just for the chance at getting this beast of a unit. that's all I got for this banner. Certainly quite the bombshell after dropping Choose Your Legends. Kind of cruel to release Peleus without a unique weapon, and then we got Legendary Micaiah to upstage him again. She may not be doing anything super special, but she will certainly be another colorless mage you're gonna have to watch out for. Personally, I would love to summon on this banner because I failed to get a shard the first time, and I don't have Fallen 80 myself, but I just spent like 800 orbs on CYL, and I would like to not go bankrupt, so I'll be holding off. Let me know your thoughts on this banner, and good luck if you are summoning. Looks like we're about to get a bunch more Fallen Edelgards in the game to deal with. Oh boy. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.